Welcome to the 16th episode of Financial Independence Retire Early in South Africa. All right, my name is Bird. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and all of that. They really help. It's been a little bit over a week since my last video, but that's all on me. But not to despair. Look, this channel is about active research and knowledge application. So I realize that I'm going to be speaking a lot about cryptocurrencies, 2 episodes on Dogecoin, right? But because I want to participate even like heavier in the space, I realize that I need to just understand the thing, just understand what I'm getting myself into. I need to understand this ecosystem. I need to understand the technologies that make up the ecosystem. I need to know the different components that make the technologies that run the ecosystem, and I need to know kind of especially the economic components, because that's what I'm trying to invest in, or that's where I'm trying to make my buck or whatever. But what are the real life, but more so the economic components that make this thing worthwhile investing in, right? That just make it what it is also. So I did like I could say a shallow dive on cryptocurrencies, technologies, and everything, and how they work. And obviously I discovered that there are a lot of things that I don't understand, a lot of words that are new to me, that I don't understand. And so naturally this episode is another definitions, context, and jargons episode, because if you're like me and you want to participate in these developing technologies of the cryptocurrencies, blockchain, smart contracts, peer-to-peer, all of that, if you want to participate economically in them, it just helps to kind of understand what you're getting yourself into, or what you're going to use in your day-to-day life, right? What is relevant to you as an investor, or what's relevant to you as a civilian, but more so as an investor. But I do not give investment advice. I am not a financial advisor. I share my understanding of things that I'm trying to participate in an economic way, because this is Financial Independence Retire Early. And you're allowed to do your own research. You're allowed to comment and tell me where I'm wrong, or just comment and be like, hey, check out this and that, or text me. I'm going to leave my WhatsApp and all of that. I'm going to leave my entire community details in the description, so check it out. But do your own research. I am not liable for however you spend your money. It's your money. However you got it and however you decide to spend it, that's all on you, bro, sis, and everyone in between or beyond. That's all on you, you know what I'm saying? But for now, we're gonna do definitions, context, and descriptions, so that we can understand cryptocurrencies, blockchains, and all that. But the first word, yes, is blockchain, right? What is a blockchain? A blockchain is a system or a digital ledger for recording information in a way that makes it impossible to hack, cheat, edit, or change the system. This ledger of transactions is duplicated and distributed across the network of computer systems on the blockchain. A blockchain network then is a technical infrastructure that provides a ledger and smart contracts to applications, right? So this digital ledger for recording information in a way that makes it impossible to hack, change, edit, or cheat the system. The ledger of transactions is duplicated and distributed across the network of computers on the systems in a peer-to-peer manner, right? And the blockchain network is a technical infrastructure that provides a ledger and smart contracts to applications. So what is peer-to-peer? Peer-to-peer computing or networking is a distributed application architecture that partitions tasks and workloads between peers. Peers are equally privileged and equipotent participants in these applications. To form a peer-to-peer network, that the nodes share resources without a central administrative system. The resources can be processing power, they can be disk storage, they can be network bandwidth, but basically every client or every computer is equal in its task, privilege, and resources in this network. So two or more computers can make a peer-to-peer network without a central administrator. Okay, so the blockchain network, which is run in a peer-to-peer manner, does not have a central administrator, right? And peer-to-peer just means that all of these computers on the network share the resources, share the tasks, share the workloads, and share the benefits and the privileges equally, right? And that is how they run the blockchain. But the blockchain is used to run smart contracts. So what are smart contracts? Okay, I'm gonna start. Let me just continue. Smart contracts are used to generate transactions which are subsequently stored or saved and distributed to every peer node on the network where they are recorded. These are digital contracts that are stored on the blockchain and are automatically executed when predetermined terms and conditions are met. These are agreements in computer code ran on the blockchain, and thus it makes them almost public and impossible to unchange or edit. But these transactions or smart contracts are processed on the blockchains automatically without a third party, whether there's a middleman, a bank, or anything. That's what makes them decentralized, right? But what do we mean when they say these are smart contracts? they run on a basis of if, when. So the code says, if this happens, then do this. For example, to release funds on a birthday each year, you automatically set that up. A lot of us already do it. When this happens on the birthday, send, if it's the date, then send out these funds, right? If I receive things that I ordered, then pay for the things that I ordered, basically, you enforce protocols and rights of the digital assets holders. If and then. These are transactional protocols which are automatically executed on the blockchains run by smart contracts, which are agreements on code. Digital contracts that are stored on the blockchain and are automatically executed when predetermined terms and conditions are met. Okay, so smart contracts used to generate transactions which are subsequently stored or saved and distributed to every peer node and the network which they are recorded. Remember peer-to-peer? Remember blockchain. Exactly. So then what are protocols, or what are transactional protocols? Transactional protocols is exactly that. These are, things that are automatically execute contracts to document, these transactional protocols, right? They automatically execute contracts, and they also document legally relevant dates and events, right? And the actions according to the contract or the agreement. So these smart contracts are ran on protocols, because these protocols are the basic units that run or execute these contracts and document the legally relevant events and actions according to the terms of the contracts or the agreement. And that is our transactional protocol. Now we're going to how all of this runs or makes decentralized finance possible. Remember, the blockchain runs on a peer-to-peer network, which is decentralized and does not have a central administrator. So it makes the smart contracts also, right, come into this blockchain, and they make what is called decentralized finance possible, or DeFi. DeFi is a term used to describe the financial tools which are found on the networks like Ethereum and amongst other things. They allow anyone with internet to be able to lend, borrow, save money without a bank or without a government, because you can just run their contracts on the blockchain. But all of this is possible because these smart contracts have what is called digital identity, right? These smart contracts that are implemented on Ether and other systems allow users to take control of their digital identity as it relates to storing and verifying information across this network or this blockchain on the peer-to-peer network, right? So this can be medical records, this can be employment details, this can be education, or this can be financial history or financial transactions. All of this can be backed up onto your digital identity, which is then stored on the blockchain, blah, 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 right? So your digital identity or smart contracts that are implemented or ran on the Ethereum network or the other systems, they allow users to take control of their digital identity as it relates to storing and verifying information. There's medical records, employment, education, financial, and all of those. Exactly. But going to another word that we hear a lot these days is NFT, non-fungible tokens, right? What are non-fungible tokens, or what are NFT? So first you have to understand fungibility. This is my basic explanation of fungibility, right? So you have like 10 rands, right? So I can give you 10 rands and you can give me 5 2 rands, and it's still the same thing. I can give you 10 rand and you give me 2 5 rands, still the same thing. 1 10 rands, they have the same value, can do the same things and pretty much, worth the same. But I can't give you my car and then you're going to give me back like tires, seats, engines, all separate, and say, but all the specific components of the car are still here. So take the car in separate pieces. It's not the same. The value is not the same. I can't even use it the same way. The same way, if I give you my house, you can't return me back like the different components of my house, or just like a specific room in the house and be like, but this is your house. It doesn't work like that. These things that can be broken down, that's fungible. Cash, money, where I can give you 10 rand and you give me 5 2 rands, that's fungible. But a house and a car, these assets are non-fungible, right? That's like a layman's definition, right? But the actual definition says fungibility versus non-fungibility. Fungible are goods or contracted without individual specimen or specified origin. They're interchangeable and replaceable by one another, right? Each part is indistinguishable from the other, but they still all have the same value. Again, fungible. These are goods that are contracted without individual specimen or origin specified. They're interchangeable and replaceable by another identical item. The individual units are eventually interchangeable, and each part is indistinguishable from the other, just like money, right, versus cards. So an NFT is a collectible digital asset which proves ownership and digital scarcity. The tokens show the ownership on the Ethereum or other blockchain networks. So when you have a non-fungible token, you have a digital asset, or you have digital verification that you own that asset. So if you have a picture or an art piece, for example, everybody can look at the art piece on the internet. But if you're going to want to prove who owns this art piece, the blockchain network can verify ownership, and that's the capacity to verify ownership and create that sense of digital scarcity or digital ownership births the ecosystem of non-fungible tokens. I think I'm relatively clear on that. And then we're going to go to another word like algorithm, word that we hear a lot, just to mellow things down now. Algorithm is a process or a set of rules that are followed in a calculation or other problem-solving operation, especially by computers. These instructions tell the computer or the app how to transform a set of facts or set of information about the world into useful info. So it's basically how to use input data. So algorithm, you hear this word a lot. What is an algorithm? Algorithm is just basically a computer code, a process, or a set of rules that follows a calculation or another problem-solving operation set by a computer, which then instructs the computer or the application, how to transform the input data that it receives into relevant data or useful information that is applicable in the world, right? That is how an algorithm works, or what an algorithm is. And then we have some like open source. You hear this a lot. Last time I told you about proprietary software, which means that it's owned by someone. And now we have something called open source, or open source software, which is the opposite of that. Open source software is computer software that is used under a license where the copyright holder grants the rights to use, study, share, change, distribute the software and source code to anyone for any reason. So basically, there is open collaboration and open development. Anybody, anywhere can read the code, change the code, edit it, share it, modify it according to their specific definitions, and use it any way that they want without having to ask the original writer of the code or the original owner of the software for permission. So open source software allows for open collaboration, open development, because anyone and everyone can have access to the software, collaborate, share, edit, teach, study, and so forth. And that is open source. That is how it is different from proprietary software, where you use it according to the rights and the limitations that are set out by the owner, right? Going back into blockchains and cryptocurrencies, we have something called staking. I also hear this a lot, staking. But basically, staking involves holding funds in a cryptocurrency wallet to support the security operations of a blockchain network. Basically, you're locking crypto in holding wallets to receive rewards. Staking systems allow delegation of tasks, so each delegate shares voting rights and earn benefits. Jesus. So ultimately, staking just means is a process of actively participation in transaction validation on the blockchain and other networks. So anybody with minimum required amount balance can stake and receive rewards. So the stake of the stake is directly proportional to the size of the nodes being chosen. So I think it basically just means every node or every peer on the network does what is called staking, and that is how you verify the transactions. You basically have to have a minimum amount of, as it relates to crypto wallets, coins in your wallet, and therefore you can verify all the other transactions that happen, and you can receive rewards for verifying those things, because obviously it takes you energy, time, and so forth to run all of those things. So proof of stake, right, allows those which with large wallets to be able to validate transactions. So proof of stake and staking is different to proof of work. I know some of us have just ran into the conversation of the difference between proof of work and proof of staking. This one uses energy, this one uses more energy, this one uses less energy. Basically, proof of stake or staking is cheaper than proof of work. Proof of staking is used on like the latest cryptocurrencies, while proof of work is used on something like Bitcoin, and that's why people say Bitcoin uses a lot of energy. But basically in Bitcoin, where the miners race to solve complex mathematical puzzles, right? And that is where the algorithms run these high blockchain complicated basically to verify the block and to create the new block. They run these solve complex mathematical puzzles to proof of work algorithms. They basically have increasing difficulty and thus need powerful computational power, powerful computers, expensive hardware, and high energy use. The miners are those computers who complete the proof of work algorithm and are rewarded new coins to complete the new block, right? So proof of work, miners race to solve complex mathematical puzzles. They have proof of work algorithms. They have increasing difficulty, thus need powerful computers, powerful computational power, expensive hardware, and high energy use. The miners are those who complete the proof of work algorithm and are thus rewarded with coins when the new block is completed. And proof of work is different from proof of stake, which allows those with the largest amounts of wallets to validate the transactions, and that is apparently cheaper, right? And staking, again, is the process of actively participating in transaction validation and proof of stake blockchain. So anyone with minimum required amount balance can stake and receive rewards. It involves holding funds in cryptocurrency wallet to support the security and operations of the blockchain network, locking crypto and holding crypto to receive rewards. Staking systems allow delegation of tasks where each delegate shares voting rights and earned benefits. So that is staking. It's different from proof of work, which runs on high algorithms, high computational power, a lot of energy, uses a lot of energy. Thus, people like Elon Musk don't like it compared to proof of staking, which uses a lot of energy. Technically, I'm done. I'd just like to thank you for watching and getting to the end, but I'm going to read the words just one more time, like we always do, just so we know what we just learned, right? We learned what blockchain is, we learned smart contracts, we learned protocols, we learned what peer-to-peer is, and that's what peer-to-peer networks are. We learned decentralized finance and how this technology is then based on blockchain, peer-to-peer networks, smart contracts, right? And all of this is done because we can create things like a digital identity, right? Because on the digital identity, it cannot be changed. Nothing can be manipulated. Nothing can be cheated on the blockchain. That's your digital identity can be used for important things like voting, borrowing money, lending money, and going to school, right? And then we understand what NFTs are, the difference between fungibility and non-fungibility. We know what an algorithm is. We understand what open source is and the difference between open source and proprietary software. And then we know what staking is and how proof of staking is different to proof of work and how one is better than the other as relates to energy use, right? And this is the first episode of understanding just the basics of the crypto ecosystem and the economic components therefore. So thank you for watching. Hit the like and subscribe button. Hit me with a comment if you can. Hit me on WhatsApp. Check my Facebook. Check my Instagram. Join the community. Let's share tips and tricks on how to reach financial independence and financial freedom, for the sake of retiring early, just for the sake of enjoying life. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.